Um, Today, I have a special guest with me. Um, as you know, we at White Stations are doing a recognition of Women's History Month. And so for me, I have decided to talk to a few women who have been amazing to me, who have blessed my life. Um, and I wanted to share them with you. So actually, I'm giving you guys a gift because these women have been such a blessing in my life in so many different ways. The guest I have today, I call her my TT. Everybody else calling it Addie. She is amazing in her own right, and I want you guys to welcome her, Miss Addie Maclin. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. I could say a whole lot about you. Try not to cry. I try not to cry, but I want you to just introduce yourself to say who you are, what you do, what you.
Okay. I am Addie Maclin, um, originally from Tennessee. I went to school, was raised most of my life there, left home at 18 years old, and kind of really been on my own ever since I was 18. And a lot of people, I don't know if any, well, I'm sure a lot of people that's listening was raised in the South. And the only thing that we ever wanted to do is when we got out of school, was just leave the South because we wanted to make a better job, a better life for ourselves. And that's what I did at 18 years old. And from that day to this one has never looked back, has never really been in any trouble can remember. And I am just so thankful when I look back over my life sometime. Uh, I have like, I have one sister and four brothers, and both mother and father's deceased. But like I said, I went to school in Tennessee, but I also went to school in Milwaukee as well. I worked at the VA hospital for over 20 some years in healthcare. And I also been running an adult family home for over 20 years. And along with that, I am a landlord of many.
Yes, you are. Ooh, that's a lie. That is a lie. And you told it really good, but I'm gonna go back a little bit. What made you not afraid, especially back then, um, at 18, to just like, I'm gone and I'm not looking back? Like, how did you do that? How did your mind feel? Like, what made
Well, you know, when I look back and I think about what's going on today,
you?
I didn't even think about being afraid. It was just a leap I took. And a friend of mine, she lived in New York. Now, we both young girls.
Yeah.
And I left there and just told my mother that I was leaving. Of course, my son was born. He was born in New York. I was 18 when he was born. And we wasn't afraid. I would just say we wasn't afraid. Just seemed like of anything. We didn't have anything to be afraid of. It's nothing like today. We would
Mhm.
go, and New York is a big place. Most people from Tennessee, they would either end up in Chicago or Milwaukee.
Mhm.
Eventually, I did end up in Milwaukee. But at that time, you never really heard of a lot of people moving to New York. So that was a big leap for me. And we went there, and it was so funny because my story is we went there as sleep-in girls,
Mhm.
where we went there,
What's the sleeping girl?
where we went on maid jobs.
Oh, okay.
Because back there was a lot of maids, right? But the
Mhm.
funny thing about it, my girlfriend had lived there, and she had did maid work, but I never did it. I was just trying to get a ticket.
Mhm.
So really, we was young and we lied. Tell the truth. We lied, and that's what we were supposed to go on. They paid for our ticket. We didn't have the money to leave Memphis. So they paid for our tickets to New York. And once I went there, she had an apartment. I went to her house, and we just kind of, and really that's part of it. And I wasn't afraid because we used to go to Central Park. We used to sleep
Mhm.
in Central Park all night. Just wasn't scared
Wow.
of anything. But today it's a little different.
And that's
When
crazy
you
because
travel, you saw like the water fountain and
yeah,
bathrooms that said color because they didn't use the word black then, and they didn't use the word Negro. They always said color or white. So
right.
yeah, and that's what we did.
That's
So
what I was gonna ask you, Miss Eddie, because you were saying we weren't afraid, but in those times, that was like civil rights era and all those things going on. The racial climate was different, kind of like it is now,
yeah,
But and you said you weren't afraid.
no, even traveling, nobody never bother us
Hmm.
or nothing. We just,
That's the favor. That's
yeah,
favor.
yeah.
And so, what happened in New York? How did you get from New York? Because that's a big leap.
But,
Memphis to New
yeah,
York, and then what to
to
Wisconsin?
to Wisconsin. Um, you know how you kind of live in a place because I actually lived in New York for like 10 or 12 years
Hmm.
and I worked there sometimes and it was just like jobs they started to like scatter.
Hmm.
And I had another friend that lived here because I still have a girlfriend, a couple of people from Tennessee that still lives in New York. I keep in contact with them by Facebook. So what I did, I wanted to move to Milwaukee because my friend was here because jobs had kind of, slowed down there and job was plentiful here. And so from there, I just came to Milwaukee. And so I've been here ever since.
I every time you talk or you share, you talk about friends and friendships, and it just lets me know how important that is. I'm the kind of person I like to, just make sure I stay connected with different people. But
Mhm.
so often, like women don't know how to be friends or how to, stay connected without there being drama. How did you just maintain all these friendships? Where did all these friends come from?
Well, we went to school together in Tennessee, and I have um, a friend. Curly and I went to high school together. She lives in Milwaukee. She lives here now. We maybe talk once or twice a year, but she's still my friend. I make her like if I start thinking about her, I always make a point to call her.
Yeah.
Once we talk, and like I have another friend, Jewel that lives here. Jewel and I've been knowing each other. We raised our kids together in Northline. But she and I we talk maybe once or twice a week, and we just stay connected. We don't get in each other's space.
Right, right, right,
It's very important. You know what I'm saying?
right. To respect the space.
Right. And and it may come from some of the upbringing I had because my mother, she never allowed us to visit anybody. She
Okay.
always said, seldom visitors make longer friends.
Oh,
And that has always stuck
that's
in my head.
real. That's probably how I'm able to maintain
Yeah.
decent relationships. Like seldom visitors make long-term friends. I'm gonna write that down. That was
Yeah.
good. That was
Yeah.
good. So on your journey, you mentioned your son, who I know, and we were little. He used to be a bully, beat up on me, and I be probably irritating him or whatever. Um, how was it raising him in those times and making sure that he would get what he needed to be the man that he is today?
Yes. The man that he is today. And I'm so proud of him,
Thank
Shalon.
you.
I am just so proud of him. I was never married at that time.
Hmm.
So most of the time it was just him and I in the home. And at that time, I mean, I don't know how your mother did, but I know how I did it.
Right.
And raising a boy,
Hmm.
now it's a little different. You know,
Right.
you don't whip your kids if you do this, that happen. But that wasn't in my case. If he needed to be punishments, I could never do. Could never hold out with a punishment.
Ah,
But whippings, yes. And he started working when he was right out of high school.
yeah.
He was no before high school because actually back then at 12 years old he got a job being a paper boy,
Yeah.
and that's what he did. And then after he graduated, he started working for this bus company, and
Hmm.
he has been working ever since. And now I think his present job, he's been on it over 20 years. I've never had, I am just so proud of him. We don't really get in each other's space either. We talk a lot on the
But he
phone.
loved you. He got you right. He
Yeah,
got you right.
He's gonna. Oh yeah, I definitely know he has my back.
Yeah.
We get on the phone and, and it's one thing like him and I can talk about stuff that I don't have to worry about him repeating, and he's the same way with me.
Mhm.
So and it's good to have children that you can talk and share stuff with. But he has been a good son. He he doesn't even have a police record. He,
Right.
and Lamont is what, 52, 53 years old, and never had any encounters with the law. And that right there says a lot. And
That's,
I
that's
understand
yeah.
says a lot.
Yeah, and when you were talking, I was thinking about, okay, you have Lamont, we call him Cadillac. That's
Hmm.
yeah, Lamont. Then you have your two grandboys, you have your grandboy, and I was thinking about how much they love you. Then I was thinking about my boys, my husband, my sons, and how much they love you. And then I'm thinking about all these other guys of how much they love you. What do you think like the draw is to you and the male species? Meaning like they connect and they trust you and they have such honor for you. What do you how did that
Um, I would say, and it is somehow those people that you just named,
happen?
they love on me all the time. They never disrespected me,
Yeah.
and I never disrespected them in any way. And I guess maybe it's my personality,
Mhm.
because it's nothing like I can ask not only like the people you name, there are other people, and especially like around the church.
Yeah.
I was in a position once, all I had to do was just ask
Yeah.
and never got turned down. It was like, people were like, how do you get people to do stuff for you? I just ask. I think it's always the way that you carry yourself, the way that you ask people. You don't have to be a bully to get, because if you start to bully people, you're not gonna get anything done.
Mhm.
No matter if you may say something under your breath or when you walk off or something, but I think there's a way that you do approach people, in order for them to love you and you love them in that respect.
And you're like extremely beautiful. I always tell you that. But you never use your charm, your feminine charm, to get what you need. So like, how do you or what are the characteristics that kind of have brought you this far in order to be as effective as you have? Because this can be a testament to women to understand that there's a way we can carry ourselves to get the things we need without sacrificing, the very um, values that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have to sacrifice, we don't have to manipulate, we don't have to do all of that, but we can have certain characteristics and certain attributes where people will draw to us and where we can have fruitful relationships without them having to be based on whether sex or anything like that. Like, what is it in you? I mean, I could say what it is, but I want to know what are the attributes that mean something to you.
I think, and once again, I think it's the way you carry yourself,
Mhm.
and I think it's the way you treat people, and also it's the draw.
Mhm.
I think it's the draw. I think it's just like anything else. People can sense a person,
The authentic.
personality.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say, you know what I'm saying. And I think that's most it. It's the draw that and your personality. And like you say, you don't have to charm people.
Yep.
You really don't,
Mhm.
because you know that charming is only going to last for a minute.
Charm is the key.
Just be yourself.
Yeah,
Just be yourself, and that's the easiest way.
I appreciate that. And you said something about be yourself, and I think about you. If I think I have this too. Sometimes people could come across when they first meet, they may like, "Ooh, she mean," because I get that. "Ooh, she mean," and then when
Mhm.
they get to know you, they want to just forever be
I've
in
had
your
that.
presence.
I've had that a
Oh
lot.
my God, I get that all the time. And then it's like, oh my God, I didn't realize you were like, yeah. But I think that authenticity, just being real, because people are used to being charmed. They
Mm-hmm.
are used to being, kind of smoothed a little bit in order
Mm-hmm.
to develop relationship. Um,
I've had that so many times,
Yes,
especially at the church.
yes,
Like they would say, "Oh man, she's so mean." And I had a group of young people that worked with me once at the church.
yeah,
Oh my God, once they found out, once they really found me out, they really love me. And some of those kids are like right today.
yeah,
They're just like my kids.
yeah.
At first they thought I was the meanest person in the world. But
But I think you show the value of being authentic. And that's important to teach and to share right now. And I think you teach us that. Like you teach us to say what you're gonna say, feel what you feel. And it's okay. Even if everybody don't agree, you don't have to do it brash, you don't have to do it hard. But if you be you, we can trust God that He'll make up the difference.
right.
uh, in order for relationships or for situations to be able to come together. What makes you so confident in, because I've seen you just say it and then you walk away. Hey, I love you with the love of the Lord, but here it is. What gives you that confidence?
And you know what, Shalon? I don't even think about it.
I know.
I just, I don't think about it.
Mhm.
Because my intention is never, ever to hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
And especially out in the open.
Mhm.
Now, if we got a problem, we're gonna talk. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that from church
Mhm.
years ago. I mean, you gotta talk it out.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna walk around upset with you, mad with you, however you want to call it. But I just say what I gotta say and just walk up. Not saying that I don't really mean no harm.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
And one thing I love too is, yeah, the guys like, 'cause my husband, I mean, he'll go to the ends of the earth for you. My sons, they want to be like you. They like, Miss Addie is a boss. And I love that. I love that they look to you and they love on you. And like you said, so many other young men and just men in general, and then your buddies, your guys, your peers.
Mm-hmm.
But there are women who we don't care. If Miss Addie said that's what's happening. And we can sit around and we can talk to you about anything.
Mm-hmm.
You never had daughters. Is that the reason why you leave your heart so open to us?
What was that question again?
Meaning, like, you never had daughters, right?
Oh,
But you have such a connection with so many of us women. And I know there are times, especially in church, where we may have been working on ministries together, and then the relationship becomes even closer, and you can sit amongst us and talk and laugh about some of the things that we're talking about, and you get in the conversation. What makes you so open to being able to share with us?
I think and it could be because I never had a daughter. I always wanted a daughter, but I had a son. Um, I really don't know. I think it still goes back to your personality. You got to be open to people,
Right.
whether it's men or women. You got to be open. You don't have to criticize, and don't criticize people everything and everything they say or do. And then you start throwing that negativity out. You know what I mean? So once people start, if you start, like if I can sit with you, a group of women, and laugh and talk with you guys, no matter what you're talking about, without saying something negative, I think people really appreciate it, because sometimes, especially women, come down on women's really, really hard.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. I know. What was the woman that inspired you?
time.
What is a woman, or who is the woman that inspired you?
I would have to say, I don't know. I thought about that. I I had an auntie, my dad's sister,
Mhm.
and when we was younger, it's one thing she always believed in, and I think all of us took out. She believed in an education.
Mhm.
She instilled getting your education, because she had an education even back then. So I'm Juanina, she really inspired like everybody in the whole family. We looked up to her. She never lived, and we never knew her to live in Tennessee, but she was one person in the family that everybody looked up to. And she's gonna always help you if you were found trying or doing something. She helped us through school. She helped my brother through college. She was that type of person. So she was an inspiration to everybody in the family.
Is that one of the reasons why mentorship, even though you never say I'm mentoring somebody, but
Uh-huh.
I know that you mentor a lot of people, meaning,
Without even knowing.
yeah,
Isn't that something?
yeah,
Without even knowing that you are mentoring to people. And the
yeah,
same, and then I can reverse that.
hmm
People mentor to me as well,
hmm
because, and I think that's very important because all of us need somebody at some time to coach us in doing something. And people, again, without criticizing us. I never will forget when I started working at the church, I didn't know anything about computers, not one single thing. And the one person that I lean and depend on was Liz Wesley.
yeah,
She taught me everything I needed to know about computer. I never felt that she thought I was too dumb to learn. Because you got to get with somebody you feel comfortable with. I felt so comfortable with her. So she was like my coach
hmm
when it came to computer stuff. And I appreciate her today. Like now I can call her and say, Liz, can you come help me? She'll come.
hmm
And so people like that, I can appreciate them. And sometimes, and people that have like more education than
hmm
you, they don't have to flaunt it. You know what I mean? They don't have to turn their nose up at you. And she was a person who never did that. And I just thank God for her, for putting her in my life. And she is a real, real good mentor. And like I say, sometimes I be mentoring to people not even realize, because even
hmm
my tenants, I love
yeah,
talking to them. And the
yeah,
mommy said, Mom, them people be glad when you leave that apartment. I bet you be over there getting on them people nerves. But we like that. And I said, no, they don't. I go there, I sit, I don't go as much now. I sit
right.
in the hallway with them, we talk, and they respect me and I respect them.
I was gonna say, even though you were saying your son is grown, good and grown, 50 and grown,
Right.
you are still mothering. You are still mothering because I know how you do, even with your tenants. Those like your baby. You
Yeah.
want to make sure they have this and make sure
Have,
they have
yeah.
that. And that is amazing that you still give over and beyond as opposed to let me collect my money on the first.
Oh no, yeah. I take them like food baskets from the
Yeah,
church. Like I know sometimes they don't have cars.
yeah.
I take them stuff. You know what I give them and they appreciate it. Because if you're dealing with people like I'm dealing with them, a lot of them is on fixed income.
Yeah.
And I just kind of make like if I make a soup or something, make too much, I'm gonna take, especially this one particular guy.
And they trust you.
And
They
they
trust
trust, yeah, yeah.
you. We talked about the tenants and we talked about the um home care that you provide. Really, that's kind of like a second phase. So now you're inspiration to me because you really like reinvented yourself.
Hmm.
Like you reinvented yourself. Okay, I'm retiring from here. Now let me do this. And now you're an entrepreneur in a sense, and you're helping in the community. And like you said, you work for the church. You've
Hmm.
done so much. How do what pushed you to say, you know what, I'm not done yet when you got finished like in the medical field? What pushed you or what motivated you to say that there's still more to me?
Yeah.
Like what was your purpose? What was your,
Hmm. As a little girl, Shalon, I always dreamed of being a nurse,
yeah.
but a nurse that took care of kids. So I never did that. But in opening up my adult family home,
Mhm.
because when I go back, even though I worked at the church, but my first love when it comes to my skills in nursing is taking care of people, taking care of sick people. So I never did the pediatric thing. But in my adult family home, like I take care of people with disability, people with mental illness, people with I said disability, mental illness. Those are my main two targets that I focus. But that. I like that caring for people, that sick people. That's my passion. Because like right now, if I could go back to work, uh, I would do something in the medical field. Yeah, I just, it just, and I think that's why I really care for people. And sometimes you don't even think that you are doing, people are watching you, but
Yeah.
that just has been one of my dreams, is to just do what I'm doing now.
So you live in your purpose. You live in your dream.
Absolutely. And
And
then
then,
I'm not done.
oh, I know.
I'm not done. I say, I'm 70 years old, but it's one more thing I want to do,
Oh my God.
and I'm focusing on it now. It's gonna, I'm really focusing on it, and especially with this pandemic, I'm home a lot,
Mhm.
and it's more that I want to do. Because you think about your kids and your grandkids, you
Yeah.
want to leave a legacy
Legacy.
for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, my God, I have been blessed beyond measures.
Yes.
And that is so true. And it doesn't take a lot for me now.
Hmm.
I want to make sure that I do leave something for my kids and grandkids. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm working. I'm gonna start working on, something else, so that I can make sure I do that.
Right. And so how did you get into the real estate, the entrepreneur, providing homes, rental property? Because you did that later in life.
Later.
That like you created a
Yeah,
whole new thing for yourself.
yeah. I knew this guy. He was in real estate,
Hmm.
and he kind of like told me what to do. And I've always been an energetic person.
Hmm.
And I said, oh, wow, I think I can do that. Oh, I think there's potential in this house or potential in that house. It may not been, and then there's certain, I like my places to look a certain way.
Yes, you
And
do.
so I'm going to make sure that that happens. So he motivated me. He didn't push me, but you're right. I was in my late 50s
Yeah.
when I got started. But I love it. I know some people have property manager, but I like to just kind of ride around and look. And I used to do a lot of the work myself, but now I don't do a lot of it myself. But
Hmm.
and it's something that I never regretted doing.
Right. Because I have a son that he trying to follow behind you.
Yeah, and he should. He's young.
Yeah, he sees
You
how you
know.
go about it. I want to be like Titi Addie. And
Yeah.
so I honor that. I appreciate that because what you're doing is you're teaching us as women, like it's, like you're not just stuck in one area. You
Right.
you get to do more, regardless of what your circumstances is. Because
Yeah.
you've done a lot, whether you was married or single. You've done a lot, whether was up or down or what have you. How does your faith play a part? Your walk with Christ and just
I
your
would say that my faith plays a great part. The church has always been my foundation. I never, ever, ever, and would never forget about the church. It has always been, and I have, back, like I said, I always was single.
Mhm.
So, in a lot that I did, most of what I've done, I did have to lean and depend on God for it. And I'm not stupid, because I remember when I first bought my first home, and even though I was working at the VA hospital, I wasn't making a lot of money.
Mhm.
So I had to really step out and leap out on faith. And I never will forget, and I think about this all the time. I was standing in my back door one day just looking like, Lord, how in the world am I going to do this? How am I going to get this home? But Shalon, this is no lie. I just sat there and I was like, I said, you got to stay focused. You just got to look straight, and like don't get off task. Just stay focused. And long as I just stay focused and just stay focused, and never sway, and that got me to where I am now. I really had to stay focused and make up my mind, because once I make up my mind
Oh yeah,
I want to do something, I am going to do it. It may take me a while, but I that's what I wanted to do. So that was my whole goal.
I appreciate it. Oh, my last question. I mean, you really been a boss all the time.
Oh,
But I know that nobody gets it right every single moment. So I gotta ask this question. What would you tell your younger self?
what would I tell my what?
Like if you could go back and talk to your younger self, what would you tell them?
If I could go back right now and talk to my younger self, I would say, do it all over again, just like you did it.
Oh, here.
Point blank. That's it.
Ah, that's
All over again.
it's been a journey, ain't it?
So it's been a journey. But
But
guess what? It's been a good journey.
I was just gonna say a good journey. That's prosperity.
Yeah,
That's prosperity at its best.
yeah,
I appreciate you. I appreciate um the conversation. I appreciate whatever's gonna come next for you because I'm telling you, my family, my village, we here, we're watching, we definitely support. And I honor what you bring to my life. You're such a good example. And you always pushing. You're not only out there making moves, but then you're pushing so many people. I know that you got some goddaughters and you
yeah,
just have people in your life that, you don't let them settle, for where they are. Like you push them beyond where they are. And I just appreciate you for that. Because you haven't just sat back and said, well, I'm gonna do for me and then I'm gonna sit down, but you give
yeah,
back.
yeah.
You give back. And I want you to know that it is appreciated in such a
Yeah.
great way. You are history. You're making history every
Yeah. I think motivating people,
day.
you
Mhm.
know, is very important. Very important.
Yeah. And you love to see it come to pass too, don't
I really do. I do. I love to see stuff like you, just motivation. I like to motivate people,
you? Hmm.
whether it's I just like to motivate people. And yeah, you're right, see it come to pass. Just kind of like
Hmm.
sit back and watch it blossom,
So now, okay, we get ready to go. But tell me, like, so since we've been in this quarantine, I know you said you're working on something. We can't put that out there. But what else have you started doing just for you? Just for you. Like, since you got more time at home, did you pick up a new hobby? Did you find out something new about yourself?
Oh wow. The one thing, and I was just telling your mom the other week,
Mhm.
um, I've, since I've been at home a lot, it's almost like starting my church life kind of like over again. It's been I have so much time with the Lord,
Yeah.
and oh my God, it just and it's not always, and it's not in person. I can do a lot of TV stuff or whatever, and just it just has been just overwhelming to me.
Yeah,
Just
you're an undercover missionary and intercessor.
it has been so overwhelming to me these last 10, almost 12 months, just being at home and where you can just think,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You can just focus, get your mind clear, and just, I don't know, seem like I just gotten so close to God, closer, I should say. Because at one time I was like, Lord have mercy, am I going to make it?
Hmm.
You know, but now he has reassured me that I am and that I will make it, and I am just so thankful for that. Yeah.
So we can end it on that. Because if you gonna make it, then we gonna make it.
Oh, we're going to make it.
I appreciate you. Is there anything else that you want to say? What would you say to my generation and then the generation um be below me or under me, especially young women,
Yeah.
single
I would
women,
say,
women with goals and dreams?
follow your dreams. Whatever you got in your mind that you want to do, it may take you a while, but do it. If you have a dream, then dream big.
Yes.
I would say the sky is the limit. Whatever you got in your mind, do it. That's what I did. And if it worked for me, I know it can work for you because there's a lot more resources now than it was then. So don't let nobody, I mean nobody, sway you away from your dreams.